Hi, I am Riley and welcome to my first ever YouTube video, which is pretty crazy. Kind of have been thinking about this for a hot minute, but never thought I would actually be doing this. And so today I thought we would talk about the Edmonton Oilers and the postseason because they are 90% of my personality. So we love that. Anywho, I'm Riley, this is my world, and let's get on with it. Well, being that this is my first ever YouTube video, I really don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm a little bit of a yapper, so it could be like 2 minutes or it could be 25 minutes, so we will see. Anywho, I did write down what points I wanted to talk about, being that this is my first YouTube video, so it might be a little bit chaotic, so please forgive me for that. But first thing I thought I would talk about is the fact that Zach Hyman is a machine, a beast, if you will. He has been so physical in the playoffs so far, and I'm super here for that. So his career high for hits was over an 82 game season was 117 hits. This playoffs, he has played in a small 14 games and has 109 hits total, which is actually insane, and I'm super here for it. I love a physical game, and I think that is something that the Oilers really needed more of. You know, we've seen it in the past where we've been very successful with a more physical game, and I am just super excited that we brought it to the next level. We have so many people who are, hitting left, right, and center, and people are being feisty, and I am really here for it. It makes the game so much more exciting for the viewer, as well, and I love that. Um, yeah, and I'm just really excited about that. Next thing, I guess, is in this series, I do genuinely think that we are the better team. We did have that one game won, but let's be real, we were the dominant team the first two periods, and we have been the dominant team every other period than that third period in the first game. And we let Dallas walk all over us because we took 300 million penalties and we're pretty much just playing 5-on-4 the entire 20 minutes. But we have been dominating, and that is something I am super happy about. Watching that and being able to say, like, we look like the better team and we are playing like the better team is absolutely fantastic. I guess the next thing is Stuart Skinner, and I am not here to spread Stuart Skinner hate. I'm a very big Stuart Skinner fan, and I have been since he was playing in the WHL. So I'm here for the long game. But even, let's be real, even those diehard fans that we all know and love, of Stuart, who have been with him since day one, have probably looked at the playoff performances and some of the regular season and been like, I'm a little bit nervous for this. I'm a little bit nervous for what might happen with Stuart. But I believe in him. I know he's gonna bounce back. I just don't know when, and it's a little stressy. And that's kind of the boat that I have been in, because I've been believing in this man. Ask my mom. I've been yapping her ear off, and I told her a hot minute ago that Stuart was gonna make a comeback, but I just didn't know when. And he has. He literally was like, I'm gonna show you. Got a shutout. And then I said, okay. I'm very happy with that. Stuart's back. And he said, actually, one more. And then I was like, oh, yeah, let's keep doing that. And then he said, actually, one more. And then he got one goal away from a shutout. That would have been great. 6-0 shutout against Dallas in the playoffs. I would have been super happy. But I'll take what I can get. But his stats are very fascinating to me. Like, when this man is in, he's in. And when he's not, you're hiding behind a pillow watching the game pretty much. But so after 8 games in the playoffs so far, he is 4-4, with a .902 save percentage and 3 shutouts, and a 2.66 goals against average. So in losses this season, he hasn't, been the best. Obviously we don't want losses, and obviously it's not all his fault. You can't pin everything on a goalie. But these are just the numbers, and that's what I'm sharing. Like, obviously in the losses, it's not often just one person's fault. So I'm not blaming the goalie. I don't need any hate for people thinking I am purely blaming Stewart, because I am not doing that. Anywho, so in his losses, he has let in 20 goals in 4 games, which is a little bit. You know, I definitely wish it was not 20 goals, but it is what it is. Just gotta move on. And he has had so in his 4 losses, his highest save percentage has been a .833, which obviously not great. And it is a loss, so you're not gonna have the best save percentage often. I mean, sometimes you will, but it is what it is. And if I went to find his save percentage throughout all 4 losses, and for some reason I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to do math, and it very well could be wrong. I'm terrible at math, so love it. I am, not a math major. But yeah, so his playoff percentage, his, from what I was able to calculate, his save percentage in his losses in total is a .817, which is, obviously not great. And I very well could have done the math. I remember math wrong. I remember hearing a .86 or .836 from I think it was Oilers Nation. So that might be the right number. Again, I'm not good at math. But his wins is where it really gets insane. He is locked in right now, I think. And he has, in 4 wins, he has a 0.24 goals against average and a .991 save percentage with 3 shutouts. And he became the 5th goalie ever in NHL history to let in 1 or less goals in his first 4 postseason wins, which is crazy, and I love that. And we are vibing, and I am super excited about that. And I think that is something that we need to go into the playoffs, with, especially at this point where, we're up 2-1 in the series against Dallas, and a team that we have beaten in the playoffs before, but this time is to go to the finals. And I couldn't be more excited. And this year's playoff run feels honestly more magical than it ever has before. It, I don't, you know, I, it's just like last year was so, the feeling around every game was pure magic, but this year it's different. You can tell that everybody, not just the team, but the fans and even those casual watchers, are so hungry for that cup. And even Canada as a whole, it's been since 1993, so that's 32 years. And since Canada has had a cup, and it's again the second season in a row that we are Canada's team. We are the team that can bring that cup back to Canada, and there's just this magical buzz in the air that I have truly been waiting 21 years since, to feel, and I'm beyond excited about it. Speaking, yeah, and so I'm just absolutely elated. But I think the last main point that I want to bring up is Corey Perry. He is awesome. I love that dude. But I saw that Tampa Bay, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, has played the most playoff games as a team since the year 2000. and I went and counted those games, and that was 218. And then I went on to Corey Perry's stats page on the NHL.com, and he himself has played 229 playoff games, which I thought was hilarious. But speaking of Corey Perry, he obviously has gotten that many games played because he's with a new team every season who makes it to the finals but always loses. And how many of those did he do a second time with and make a good playoff run? Obviously we haven't made it to the finals yet, but I think everybody's banking on it. So how many of those times has he repeated? I don't remember a time where he did. And we also have Jeff Skinner, a guy who has been playing in the NHL for a bajillion years and has never made it to the playoffs until this season. And so when we had Corey Perry and then signed Jeff Skinner, I was like, the stars are aligning. I am an incredibly superstitious human being, and so I saw those two guys being on the same team. I was like, well, it's our year. There's nothing stopping us, and I love that. Yeah, I think that is the last main thing I want to talk about. And I guess to close out, I'm pumped for this season, and just the time that we're living in. Being an Oilers fan right now is just the greatest, because not only do we have Connor McDavid, we have Zach Hyman and Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Matthias Ekholm, despite him being injured, and that makes me want to cry because I miss him. We have so many guys that are making everything so exciting, and we have some of the best players in the league, and the best players in the league being Connor and Leon, and we get to watch them year after year put up point after point, highlight reel after highlight reel, and go on these cup runs that many of us have been waiting our whole lives for. As an 04 baby, I don't remember the 2006 run, and then after that there was nothing until we had Connor and Leon and all of these other guys that have been so vital to us, and we really are living in the good old days, and this is something that we shouldn't take for granted. And we are just living in such a good time to be a hockey fan. On that note, I think this is gonna be the end of my first video. Please like and subscribe. I had so much fun making this, and I love talking, and so if you like listening, this might be the place for you. So I'm Riley, and welcome to my world.